Hey y'all, and welcome to the new releases for the week of May the 8th. We have a lot of exciting fantasy ones again this week, so I hope you enjoy, and there will be timestamps as I have gotten to normally doing it, yes. And it is obviously May the 4th while I'm recording this, so that's why I have my themed shirt. The first one coming out this week that we will talk about is fantasy genre, and this is going to be the conclusion to the Iron Fae series by Julie Kagawa, I think. It's called The Iron Vow. So I took the clip that I also had with my anticipated releases with this one, and I probably should have gone back and gotten the description of the first book instead. This one, though, is in the Iron Fae Evenfall series, so it's preceded by Iron Raven and the Iron Sword. This one says that it is the extraordinary finale to the Iron Fae series, and the fate of the Never Never and all the world hangs in the balance. Join Megan, Ash, Puck, Grimalkin, and the entire Iron Fae cast in this final epic journey into the worlds where imagination knows no bounds. And somebody is going to be asked to make one more impossible choice. I have not read this series, at all. And it's one of the ones I've heard mixed things about, so I haven't read it. Don't know. Not even sure. But we will move on from that. If you have read that series, though, hopefully you will be excited by the fact that the conclusion is coming out. The next one, though, is going to be The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. Two strangers find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets. The boy has lived his whole life trapped within a book-choked chamber older than empires and larger than cities. The girl has spent hers in a tiny settlement on the dust, where nightmares stalk and no one goes. The world has never even noticed them. That's about to change. Their stories spiral around each other across worlds and time. This is a tale of truth and lies and hearts and the blurring of one into another. A journey on which knowledge erodes certainty, and on which, though the pen may be mightier than the sword, blood will be spilled and cities burned. I do believe that one sounds interesting. It does sound interesting, and one that I might put in a jar to try to check out at some point. The next one is more of a fantasy romance. And this is The Crown of Ivy and Glass by Claire Legrand. And this one is going to be in the adult bookish box for May. Because I looked into that about getting the May one, and then I saw this book. And I was like, well, it does sound interesting, but this plus the fandoms they're doing, I'm not sure if that's the first version of the bookish box I want to try. It's Lady Gemma Ashbourne seemingly has it all. She's young, gorgeous, and rich. Her family was anointed by the gods, blessed with incredible abilities, but underneath her glittering facade, Gemma is deeply sad. Years ago, her sister Mara was taken to the Middlemist to guard against treacherous magic. Her mother abandoned the family. Her father and eldest sister, Farron, embroiled in a deadly blood feud with the mysterious Basque family, often forget Gemma exists. Worst of all, Gemma is the only Ashbourne to possess no magic. Instead, her body fights it like poison. Constantly ill, aching with loneliness, Gemma craves love and yearns to belong. Then she meets the devastatingly handsome Talon D'Aster. His family destroyed themselves, seduced by a demon, and Talon, the only survivor, is determined to redeem their honor. Intrigued and enchanted, Gemma proposes a bargain. She'll help Talon navigate high society if he helps her destroy the Basques. According to popular legend, a demon called the Man with the Three-Eyed Crown is behind the family's blood feud. Slay the demon in the feud. But the attacks on Middlemist are increasing. The plot against the Basques quickly spirals out of control, and something immense and terrifying is awakening in Gemma, drawing her inexorably toward Talon in an all-consuming passion that could destroy her or show her the true strength of her power at last. So see, it's got promise, I think. I mean, it's got intriguingness, but I think I want to see what other people start to say about it. Maybe see how they say it reads. So yeah, I'm gonna wait and see how that sounds about. Our next one is I think slightly historical. It's called Atalanta, I think, by Jennifer Saint. Princess, warrior, lover, hero. When Princess Atalanta is born, a daughter rather than a son her parents hope for, she is left on a mountainside to die. But even then, she is a survivor. Raised by a mother bear under the protective eye of the goddess Artemis, Atalanta grows up wild and free, with just one condition. If she marries, Artemis warns it will be her undoing. Although she loves her beautiful forest home, Atalanta yearns for adventure. When Artemis offers her the chance to fight in her name alongside the Argonauts, the fiercest band of warriors the world has ever seen, Atalanta seizes it. The Argonauts' quest for the Golden Fleece is filled with impossible challenges, but Atalanta proves herself equal to the men she fights alongside. As she's swept into a passionate affair in defiance of Artemis's warning, she begins to question the goddess's true intentions. Can Atalanta carve out her own legendary place in the world of men while staying true to her heart? Full of joy, passion, and adventure, Atalanta is a story of a woman who refuses to be contained. This next one I thought was YA when I first heard about the first book. This is a sequel, and that's going to be A Shadow Crown, which is the sequel to A Broken Blade, which I did not put the author, and I got the sequel summary instead of the first book summary. So pull that up. Okay, got it. So the first book is about my body is made of scars. Some were done to me, but most I did to myself. Kira is a killer. As the king's blade, she is the most talented spy in the kingdom, and the king's favorite assassin. When a mysterious figure moves against the crown, Kira is called upon to hunt down the so-called Shadow. She tracks her target into the magical lands of the Fae, but Faeland is not what it seems, and neither is the Shadow. Kira is shocked by what she learns, and cannot help but wonder who her enemy truly is, the king that destroyed her people, or the Shadow that threatens the peace. And this is going to be part of the series, and it's called The Halfling Saga. So that's cool. And the Shadow Crown itself says that it is a fantasy novel with stunning world building and slow burn enemies to lovers romance, and for readers seeking more representation in the fantasy realm, they'll fall in love with the unforgettable cast of characters introduced. We will move on though into our next genre, which is YA, and also a fantasy though, and a sequel. This is going to be Cursed Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. And this is the sequel to Twin Crowns, where we are in a kingdom where magic is outlawed and witches are actually actively hunted. The princess that is going to be coronated into queen soon does not know she's a twin, but her twin, who was separated from her at birth, does know that they were twins. And she has been raised with the witches, and she has been raised to go and take her sister's place and free the witches from persecution. And yeah, so they don't know anything about each other hardly. I mean, she knows about her sister, the one with Ruth Witches does, but she doesn't know her sister. She believes she's pampered and spoiled and hardly anything knowing about her life. Which, true, the pampered princess is kind of oblivious to a lot of the things happening within her own kingdom. But as they are stuck in each other's worlds and start to know things about each other and realize things about each other, it is just, yes. And there is bits of romance. There is bits of romance for both of the princesses, of course, because it is YA. And as things come to a head about what happened in the past with their parents and what happened, in the distant past that caused the witches to be persecuted, and politically things. A lot happened in that book. Our other YA of the week is Nigeria Jones by Ibi Zobi. I really feel like I did not say that right. This is supposed to be a coming of age story though. Warrior Princess, that's what Nigeria Jones's father calls her. He raised her as part of the movement, a black separatist group based in Philadelphia. Nigeria is homeschooled and vegan and participates in traditional rituals to connect her and the other kids from the group to their ancestors. But with her mother, the perfect matriarch of their when her mother, the perfect matriarch of the movement, disappears, Nigeria's world is upended. She finds herself taking care of her baby brother and stepping into a role she doesn't want. Nigeria's mother had secrets. She wished for a different life for her children, which includes sending her daughter to a private Quaker school outside of their strict group. Despite her father's disapproval, Nigeria attends the school with her cousin Kamu and Sage, who used to be a friend. There, she begins to flourish and expand her universe. As Nigeria searches for her mother, she starts to uncover a shocking truth, one that will lead her to question everything she thought she knew about her life and her family. Now we'll move on into our mystery of the week, and this is Heads Will Cinnamon Roll by London Lovett. There are several books listed planned for this series, but I do believe this is the first actual release of the series. Motorcycles. Scotty recently made some life-changing decisions. One might even call them rash. She's turned her whole world upside down and desperately wants to set it up right. After wallowing for a good month in her grandmother's cottage in Ripple Creek, the small mountain town where she spent most of her childhood, Scotty sets off, determined to leave the past behind and fulfill her dream of starting a bakery. In the midst of planning her new business, Scotty learns how to tamp down feelings for her childhood crush, meet new, interesting friends, and stumble upon a murder. It's not the first time Scotty's found herself at a murder scene, and once again, she's intrigued. Now the question is, was this a case of mistaken identity, or did the killer know exactly what they were doing? I think it's going to be a cozy mystery, and it sounds cute, and it's food. Yeah, I'm gonna look. I might look for it. Now we'll do a crime thriller, so cozy to more intense. It's Fire with Fire by Candace Fox. A desperate pair of parents, a man on the run, a rookie cop, 4 people with everything on the line. What will be left in the ashes in the next 24 hours? Following their daughter's mysterious disappearance, Ryan and Elsie Delaney have taken the LAPD forensics lab hostage and have given law enforcement an ultimatum. Find their daughter Tilly, or they will destroy all the evidence they can find to other cold cases. Detective Charlie Hoskins has been undercover in a deadly motorcycle gang for 5 years. With his cover blown, he has no choice but to find Tilly himself, or lose everything he's worked for as the lab burns. Lynette Lamb was a police officer until yesterday, when she was fired before her first beat. It's weird. Figuring out what happened to Tilly is her one and only chance at rejoining the career she's prepared her whole life for. Hoskins and Lamb will have to team up to solve this cold case, and will have to move fast before the situation explodes. It sounds intense. It sounds really... wow. Then for our final book of the week, it is actually a romance. This is going to be Queen Charlotte. And this is by Julia Quinn and Shonda Rhimes, because it is based upon the new Netflix series that, is supposed to be the prequel to Bridgerton that is written by Shonda Rhimes. We are one crown. His weight is mine and mine is his. In 1761, on a sunny day in September, a king and queen met for the very first time. They were married within hours. Born a German princess, Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz was beautiful, headstrong, and fiercely intelligent. Not precisely the attributes the British court had been seeking in a spouse for the young King George III. But her fire and independence were exactly what she needed, because George had secrets with the potential to shake the very foundations of the monarchy. Thrust into her new role as a royal, Charlotte must learn to navigate the intricate politics of the court, all while guarding her heart because she is falling in love with the king, even as she pushes her away. Above all, she must learn to rule and to understand that she has been given the power to remake society. She must fight for herself, for her husband, and for all her new subjects who look to her for guidance and grace. For she will never be just Charlotte again. She must instead fulfill her destiny as queen. Oh, sorry. There's something aggravating my eye. Myself, I have never actually watched or read the Bridgerton, so I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. I've debated it a little bit, though. A little bit, at least watching the show, because people seem to love it, so maybe. That's all for this week's list. Maybe you found something new and intriguing to pick up, or now you know that a sequel, conclusion to a series, is coming out this week, so you can go get it. And I do hope that if you enjoyed my content, you will check out some of my other videos, like this double unboxing from this past weekend, where both the unplugged boxes came in days apart. And if you're enjoying it, consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I hope you're finding something awesome to read today, and that you'll come back for the next one. See y'all later. Bye.